Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lions and tigers and bears, oh my, welcome to the After Hours Gaming League, the For Fun League, in which members of major companies join together to play video games on the competitive battlefield purely for fun. If you're here for serious commentary, go somewhere else, because we like to have fun here at AHGL. The competing teams today are the IBM StarCraft 2 BTeam, and Qualcomm, who didn't have Photoshop skills enough to match this. But that's fine. They take their photography skills seriously, and they have extreme camaraderie represented by the man at the far right. At this point in time in the AHGL, we're at week 5, where right now these two teams are both 2-2, hoping to get that key win to bring them to 3-2. And a chance to make it to the playoffs, where they have the opportunity to maybe win $5,000 of my money to donate to the charity of their choosing. Let's find out what's going to go down as we check out, in the top left corner, from Team IBM B, it's Wigan, Great Archon, ooh! And on the other side of Habitation Station, from Team Qualcomm, wearing the purple trunks, it is DC Tsunami. Ooh. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen the exceptional games that occur on Habitation Station in the TVZ matchup. That is where it is most known, with the great things like Scarlet versus Bomber. But the TVP matchup has its own set of fantastically awesome things that go down upon it, such as Grubby versus Koss. MC has shown some delightfully sexy games on this map. The important thing to note is that if you elect to do something a little bit cheesy and it goes awry, you can make up for that. You can do the catch-up game by taking the gold. So big risks, bold plays are ever so encouraged. And of course, these two teams being 2-2 in the non-professional For Funzy League, these are not your grandest of grandmasters. These are not your players that have extremely finely tuned, refined gameplays who get an edge and keep it until the end. These are the players that deliver entertaining games time and time again. DC Tsunami beginning getting a gateway, Terran's beginning getting a barracks. Nothing should really surprise anyone, but if you are surprised, it means you've never seen this game. Welcome to StarCraft 2. You see, Great Archon has not yet taken a gas geyser. He's going barracks nada, which likely indicates that he wants to go for a fast expansion. DC Tsunami's looking to do something a little bit cutesy, as we see both gas geysers taken. Always opens up the most number of possibilities. The real question will come when we look at those gas geysers after they're done. If there's 2 in each gas, it will generally be a little bit more of a calmed early expand. If we see 3 in each gas, then it means that something bastardly is about to occur. I think dastardly is the word I wanted, but you know what? I'm going to roll with it. Oh, 3 in each gas geyser could potentially be something a little bit disturbing en route. Now, it looks like the Qualcomm DC Tsunami has chosen the purple colors, thereby making it virtually impossible for me to track him on this minimap, but I will do my best as an astute former pro gamer of Brood War, the game in which not watching the minimap was as bad as not having rear view mirrors while driving. Actually, I realize that's a very needlessly complex analogy. Maybe a lot of people here use public transit, and they're like, well, that sounds fine. I will trust it to a pro gamer to drive me from A to B. But the important thing is that I'll do my best to keep track of all this action. DC Tsunami's scouting himself to make sure that he's not going to forget that expansion. He's not yet done anything with that gas. That keeps me quite concerned. Great Archon has already snatched himself of the command center. The big question, oh yes, DC Tsunami. There's no question anymore. He's going to open Oracle. Love this play. You know what we're going to see out of our friend DC Tsunami? The harassment, harassment, harassment. Great Archon's already begun to throw down his barracks count. Will likely begin getting the ever-critical stim timing. And the really big goal for DC Tsunami is to deal as much damage as possible before that stim timing doth arriveth. My god, Tsunami is never going to forget another pylon so long as he lives. Great Archon is just... he knows that no expansion's coming up, and I think he's starting to get a little bit suspect. Oh my gosh, Great Archon. I think doing an absolutely excellent answer. Really needs that third barracks coming up soon. The Oracle play, absolutely love this. It can keep a Terran player contained before the stim timing's up. Very difficult for those Marines to keep pace with that Oracle. This is going to lead to a lot of damage. We also see that the factory is coming up. It's going to be a swift transition to medevac with only 2 barracks, so we likely will see a reactor coming on the second one very, very quickly, but Great Archon, oh my god. Starting to get a little bit suspicious. He has to know. He has to know something's up. Oh my god. If he just loses to a single Oracle, then he will basically do what most Terran players do on the ladder. LOL. If you want a free win button, get an Oracle most games. Oh my god. He is really suspect. He's smelling something's going wrong. But his timing is a little bit off, and here comes the Oracle. Down 1, down 2, down 4. That's still okay. Now it's starting to get into the danger zone. Yeah, now this is just really painful. This is just a stinging, a gruesome finish. Oh, is he going to get a 9th one? Oh, God. Despite 9 being my favorite number, that's still my least favorite number of things to lose in a battle, because then people will turn against you. LOL, day 9, lose 9 workers, and I'm like, hey, come on. I don't normally play Terran. Great Archon is in a very uncomfortable situation, having lost those 9 workers. He obviously cannot go mad macro mode, but what he can do is do cutesy tech mode. He can opt to go for very, very fast medevacs, because that has not been slowed down. His factory still is on pace, but has pulled units out of the gas geyser and is playing extremely defensively. I mean, Great Archon either has to do a very tech-focused attack fast, or he's got to pull back and attack never again. Wait until he has a tremendous army to move back out. Tsunami, though, is not really taking advantage of this as much as he could be, so this might give a big opportunity for the IBM BTeam's Great Archon to step back in. What we're seeing out of Tsunami right now is no attempt to go for the big AoEs. No Robo. No Twilight Council for the Templar Archive. And without that AoE, those Marines are just going to happily step right on up. Rip everything to pieces. Great Archon looks like he's actually opting to go for Widow Mines, increasingly a very popular choice whenever it appears our opponent is unlikely to be going for something with a Robotech. There's the scan, he sees the Void Ray. Incidentally, these mines, very rarely used, are going to be an excellent choice in this particular circumstance. And many of you are saying, who the hell builds Widow Mines versus a player going Void Ray with all sorts of gateways? What? Don't worry, my friends. I have over 10,000 hours experience in StarCraft 2 to handle even the corner cases of what? Tsunami positioning that bastard Oracle with the 9 kill count in the bottom side. More Chrono Boost coming out. Looks like we've almost hit the critical 16-16 in all the places. Tsunami still a little bit behind. Oh no, a double starport? Now, with 10,000 hours experience, I have no idea what the hell is going on up here, but it'll probably be a double tech lab into Raven or Banshee. We haven't really gotten to see 2 starport Banshee in an extremely long time, although Into the Rain. A Terran player popularized that quite a bit in the early days of beta, until losing became his most common play after doing that. Whoa! Building medevacs 1 at a time out of 2 starports. Hell yeah, it's legal in the game rules. Now these Void Rays are going to be very powerful against the medevacs, a rather difficult to consider angle given the fact that no one really builds Void Rays, but if you target fire appropriately, they just evaporate nearly instantly. 3rd Nexus coming up. Robo Bay, very late. But given that early damage to Great Archon and his lack of transitioning into additional barracks, I think he's going to be in pretty decent shape. Great Archon is moved out, and without that stim. Has stim been started? Oh my god, nothing's been started, you guys! The unpredictability of the circumstance is overwhelming me. It's going to be a little of this, a little of that. The peanut butter and jelly sandwich of Terran, a Marauder mine, melded together in a little double-decker assault. I can't wait, and now that I've said all that, I'm just a hungry man. I'm just a very hungry person. second robotics facility coming out. We see the +1 attack coming up, which generally indicates that there may be something along the lines of Colossus Stalker action coming up. But how long will it take for him to notice Great Archon? He's dropping in the main base. Will the Widow Mines burrow? He's going to hit that R key. ER. The Widow Mines immediately set their path on destruction. Uh-oh. Oh my god, the warp in action was amazingly well timed for suicide. The mines rip everything, warping in apart, and might get the chance to kill some more probes. Oh my god. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, please do that. Please. Oh, much obliged. Uh-oh. An observer has arrived. An observer's arrived. Will it get it in time? No way! Playing with fire, he manages to escape that in time. I don't believe it. Stim's almost done in the meantime. No way! Excellent. You got one tech lab, one reactor. Armory, another engineering bay coming up. Hellbats being produced. Thrilled to see Hellbats in production. The factory utility being exploited by Great Archon here. Planetary fortress. More missile turrets coming up. Scan to continue to monitor the army of the Protoss foes, but it's about to get a big twist thrown in. A lemon and a lime? No. A pair of Colossus. Suddenly, the fact that I'm kind of hungry and having done this before dinner, everything I refer to might be food-based, but that's an important component to all these teams, as they are consisted of organisms that require food to stay alive. So I know that you can relate to me. More stalkers coming up. Colossus positioned back in the main base where the original rally of the observers were. We see like a single scouting stalker does get eliminated. Although, again, dark purple, very difficult to see on the minimap. If I Alt-F it, will it help? No. No, it won't help it at all. Tsunami, looks like we've hit a lull. Things have calmed down a bit. In fact, the ice cream truck in my neighborhood is driving on by. If you hear the pop goes the weasel song out the window, then you know my pain. Oftentimes it just circles my block for hours and hours and hours. And I have to really focus to keep it together. We see DC Tsunami getting himself the Warp Prism up, getting the Colossus up, spiking up the gateway count's going to be next on his docket. Now that there's enough Colossus to be able to withstand a big push, the question is, how do we deal damage back to the Terran player? In a regular big army versus big army fight, so long as the Terran player can avoid getting stormed via ghosting or just good micro, if the Terran player can avoid being stormed, the Terran player will win the straight-up battles outright. Protoss players have begun to just learn this through trial and error, through pain, and so counterattacking has become the ticket to success for Protoss in those late-game stages. But I mean, with these extra starports up already, we even see these Widow Mines up in the main base. Ooh! That might shut down the counterattacking. We see that +2, +1 upgrades. I mean, despite a kind of a unusual start, despite a little bit of the errors happening at the outset, things are looking pretty good for Great Archon. He's moving into this bottom side. All the economy he lost early on, it doesn't matter. There's 8 Vikings on the map, 33 Marines, 12 Marauders, 4 Hellbats even to soak up some of that damage. Do they have range? Oh my god, they don't have range. The range upgrade isn't done yet. It's only just now getting started. The assault begins. The stims occur. He's pulling back. He's kiting, but the Vikings really need to sit there and fire. He's trying to step forward to pick off the Colossus. One of them's going to go down. Another one's going to go down. The Widow Mines burrow at the front line. Uh-oh, this is a very difficult spot to be in as Protoss, but he has enough gateway units to be able to withstand the fight, and everything suddenly is very dead. Great Archon's going to have to rely on all those production structures he's littered across his base with. We see that the Warp Prism up at the top side is beginning to step into action, beginning to head down. Protoss army's getting a little overeager, I think. Being willing to move out into the front lines. Warp Prism to reinforce. The money count is rather high for both of these players, but Widow Mines are continuing to stay burrowed into good positions, and Widow Mines are really the Zealot Eaters in this matchup. Oh my god. Widow Mines taking some serious damage. We see at the front lines, the Zealots stream in, don't actually take too much damage, but stepping into this little slit by this planetary fortress, we see that the Terran army is going to be able to have at least some fighting hope of staying alive. Zealots beginning to work their way up into the front lines. Over at the backwards base, we have a single Widow Mine burrowed. Dirty. But it won't matter if the Colossus Zealot forces continue to overrun. The supply counts are in favor of Protoss 160 to 140, but it's not a tremendous lead. Looking like Great Archon has not very much at his front to defend. He's sending the SCVs forward, but it wasn't enough. The landed Vikings are deeply embarrassed. Step up off the ground and begin to fire away at the Colossi. 3-3 upgrades, 2-2 for air. It doesn't even matter because the Protoss army is just 1Aing his way to victory. Ouch, the +3 that was nearly finished gets eliminated before anything can occur. A Thor is starting to get built, which is just kick-ass. Oh my god, it's a collector's edition Thor. You can see Great Archon's dedication to this game by the models that his units have. 3 medevacs being produced at once. Another Thor will likely join his fallen comrade. Great Archon's hanging in there. He's spammed up, queued up all the way at all his structures. Picking off one Colossus, trying to keep the hope alive. But I just don't know with the amount of warpings that can be happening here. 10 gateways out all at once. We see the Widow Mine up in this area. It does have 6 kills, another one at the expansion. In the unit count, there's still 76 probes. The Widow Mines, can they pull some miracles? There's still, it seems, maybe, just maybe, some kind of hope, as the Colossus might barely fall, but Archon has not enough stuff. DC Tsunami overwhelming the front, and I'm pretty sure that our IBM BTeamer Wigan Great Archon will not be able to stay alive in this match. Colossus marching in pairs. There's the good game. The win goes to Team Qualcomm. With their very first victory in this match, they're only 2 games away from a potential advancement to the 3-2 status in Week 5. So when we return, we will be heading into Game 2 of IBM versus Qualcomm here in the After Hours Gaming League. A brief break.